What's going on, people? Trip 2323 here. I've been in the middle of doing a project. The video's going to be up. I'm doing a mural. What right now, Murphy's Law stepped in. What happened with the hot water, this is hot water, cold water. Our house is from 1910. This is the original sink. I've done little projects all around the house. I've never replaced this sink because the job is going to, this sink is actually into the wall. So I know I'm going to have a bigger job than what it is. So this house actually been like this for 20 years. And we've been going through it. Now I replaced this insert twice already, so 2 times in 20 years not bad. So we're gonna go over how to replace the packing and the washer inside this old metal pipe. But what I'm doing this time, it's gonna be a little kind of 2 videos here because the galvanized pipe goes all the way through the basement, and I did attach a copper pipe to it like I'd say 18 years ago. But when I went from the copper, I was trying to take off the treading for this that goes into the wall, goes downstairs. When I was trying to break the treading loose, it actually cracked a little pinhole in the galvanized pipe at the top of the tread. So I even tried to tighten it up to get it more on the thread, and it just kept leaking for 20 years. But I sealed it up with that tape that seals anything. But now since I got to replace this, all this water line is actually on the main line for the house. So since I'm going to do this anyways, I bought a shark bite cutoff switch. So we're going to go downstairs, we're going to break away from the galvanized pipe, cut that off fresh, put a dresser union, a coupling fitting on that, and go into a dielectric union and to galvanize. I'll explain a little bit more on that. But this is actually going to be how to change this, but this is going to be the second part. Alright, because I'm going to have to put another cutoff valve. One of the things I say when you're doing plumbing work is do it early in the day. And don't do it where a plumbing hardware store around you is closed, because Murphy's Law always tends to step in somewhere. So if you try to cutting off the water, shutting off the water in your house, or you're short by one piece or something ain't fitting right, you have time to run to the hardware store and buy the extra piece that you need than to have to wait a whole extra day for it or call for emergency service. So when I'm going on with this, since this is the 3rd time now in 20 years that I'll be changing this, I'm going to go ahead and put a shutoff valve so I don't have to shut off the whole house for this, but I'll show you how to do that. But first, I'm doing a 3rd video first, how to make a mojito, because I got to go make a mojito for my fresh mint leaf that I grew. Alright, I'll be back in a bit. Bye. Okay, right tool for the right job. 3/4 inch copper pipe. This is actually coming from the hot water tank. I had it in what is this stuff, the foam right here, but I'm actually going to cut it back because I'm going to put a ball valve right now to shut it off. Okay, going to a galvanized pipe. Actually that was a brass fitting right here, but it's been leaking for like 20 years. So this actually at the top of it has a hole at the top of the galvanized pipe. I'm cutting this completely off in a circle. The galvanized pipe I'm cutting completely off, just flat, and I'm putting a compression fitting on there. From the compression fitting, I'm going to go into a dielectric to come into a galvanized fitting. Dielectric is when you have copper going into galvanized over years, it corrodes, and after years it corrodes. So that's why you need a dielectric union in between them. The dielectric is the actual only thing I'm going to have to sweat, and then it's going to go into a ball valve. I'm actually going to put the shutoff valve here because that's going upstairs, and this is an old house where the only shutoff is the only shutoff valve really is the main pipe for the house. So I want shutoffs all over the place. So I'm going to put a ball valve shutoff going into that, but I'm going to cut that off first, show you how to do that. Okay, this is the compression fitting that I'm using, also known as a dresser fitting. This right here, actually, the rest of the pipe, galvanized pipe, is in the wall. Got a leak right here. Don't want to take the whole pipe out the wall. Have yourself enough room. You cut all the treading part off. You slide this onto it. There's actually a washer, a rubber gasket. The 3/4 inch pipe slides in there. Whatever pipe slides in there, you put the gas. Well, how you load it first is you put this onto the pipe first. Then you put the gasket onto the pipe, and then you put this onto the pipe, and then you screw it in. The irony with this one is what I don't like is I actually got to cut a fresh pipe to squeeze it in on this side to adapt it back out. But I got to do what I got to do. I've actually bought a closer one. I have one for a smaller pipe, but this is actually for a 3/4 inch pipe because it's narrower room, so you can't spin the whole one around. So I bought a little one to spin it around and cut that off. I'll show you right now, but I want to show you what this is. Before you start the project, make sure nobody has to go to the bathroom, nobody has to shower, because you're going to be shutting off that water. So I got to shut off the main valve for the house, or you can look in there and go back to see if there's any other shut off valves. But I know in this house it's from 1910. I got to shut off the main valve. But after I shut it off and I put the shark bite shut off valve, I can turn the main one back on. The rest of the house have water, and this will actually shut the water off from where it's at. Now if you shut the main valve off, some of them don't close all the way where you still have a leak. That'll be okay as long as you turn on a faucet that's lower than where you're working. Because if you shut it off, it's just going to trickle a little bit and it'll flow to the lowest point of the house. So I'm working overhead, so there's a lower point. So I'm going to shut it off and turn the lowest point on. Alright, I'm going to show you how to cut this off now. Okay, that's the best shot I'm going to get. This right here is the copper pipe that I'm going to cut. One thing that I forgot to mention is when you shut off your main water valve, open up all the water valves in the house, because there's going to be water in the pipes up higher, and if you don't open them up, it's going to take longer to drain. So if you open up the higher valves also, the water will drain out faster. I still have a little bit of water draining through the cold water line, but I'm going to cut this pipe anyways. We're going to see what happens here, and if it drains, I got to cut this one really fast and put a shark bite. The shark bite is actually going to be a stopper. Slips right on here, no sweating, no nothing, and for the copper pipe, and you just sweat it right on, and I mean you just click it right on, and it'll stop the water instantly with the ball valve. All right, so this is what we're going to use right here, and it is actually a small space pipe cutter. You don't want to bog it down really tight, because if you bog it down really tight, you're going to mess up your blades. Measure twice, cut once, find out where you're going to be at. This is a gas pipe up here, so that's why I'm not using any angle grinder or nothing like that. And these right here, all you got to do is spin them around the pipe and make sure it's on the same path every time it goes around. Then when it gets really easy, you just tighten it up a little bit more. Now with galvanized, it's going to take a little bit longer than with copper. Normally with copper, it goes right through copper pretty fast. But as long as you're in the same tread length, you just put it on and you spin it around and it'll get through the pipe. So let me go ahead and get this one cut, and then I'll be right back with you. And there you go, Bob's your uncle. The galvanized pipe is split right there. It took me about 4 minutes of spinning that pipe cutter around here. I'm going to clean all this down, and then I'm going to tighten up the coupling up here on this one right now. Alright, now, but that's what, I mean, there you go, show you. It's cut right there. Now there's water dripping from in here. There shouldn't be any because everything should be flowing the other way. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten up the water valve, shut off valve for a little bit to see if it'll stop the water from dripping from this one. Okay, I got the coupling up. Man, I'm sweating my ass off cutting. This is what I use for the close quarters to cut through the galvanized pipe. This is the new nipple, but I'm cutting the top off to fit into the coupling, then go into the elbow. Taking a break because man, my arms are like pop by twisting that damn thing to cut. This is so easy to cut through copper pipe. Galvanized pipe is a mother. But then from here, I'm going to the dielectric union. This is to stop the corrosion between the galvanized and the copper. I gotta sweat this copper pipe inside of here, and then I'm putting a shark bite right in between. The shark bites are really cool because all you do is push it on and clip it in and it's done. But right now I have to custom fit this because it's an older house. So I'm still trying to cut this through. I spun it about 500 times. I'm still going, and then I'll be right back with you. Okay, this is the whole part of the system that I'm going to have to sweat. The one part, this is the dielectric union. I got to sweat onto the copper pipe, and then it's going to connect to the galvanized pipe. One thing when you're sweating the union is you got to make sure it's a clean sweat. Don't overdo it. Don't have lumps because you won't be able to slide this up right here. So it got to be a clean sweat around and clean it up with a wet rag really fast so you can fit the coupling over it. And if you are going to sweat it while it's on the pipe, make sure this is far enough back. But I wouldn't because that's a plastic fitting in there. So I would always try to find some way to put a shark bite or something in between. That's the way I do it. Alright, I'll be right back. Okay, so where I'm at right now. This right here is what's going into the dresser fitting or the coupling for the galvanized pipe. I had to cut this one off. This sucker took me at least 15 minutes. Actually, I ran out of the blade. I wound up just doing it with a hacksaw. Teflon tape is on the elbow. The elbow, this is just dry fitting right now because I got to measure where I'm cutting the other copper pipe. The dielectric union is what's going to be for the in between the galvanized and in between the copper pipe. What I would do is, if you're doing this and it's between the box, your electric box, and your main ground, get a green jumper and screw it into the pipe on one side and screw it into the pipe on the other side and jump it with another ground. I really don't know if these right here, these shark bites, are ground proof either. But these are so simple. You slide it right in, you put the clip in, and it's done. It does spin. I don't know how it keeps the water out, but it does. So right now, I'm gonna, before I finish and put in all the Teflon tape and everything and the rest of it, I'm gonna dry fit this into the union and find out where I'm gonna have to cut the other shark bite, and then take it apart right here, put this on the other side, and then the union's gonna close them together. All right, I'll be right back with you. And there you have it, Bob's your uncle. There's a compression coupling galvanized pipe. It was leaking at the original elbow right here, right up on the top treads. Teflon tape, Teflon tape. These are just rubber gaskets on the top of that coupling right there. See the coupling right there? That's just regular couplings on there. You know what I don't like about this is with the shark bites and with this, the pipe is not a solid pipe, although it's not leaking at all. It went from the coupling. I cut a clear pipe right there in half, put the galvanized coupling in there, or dresser fitting, 3/4 inch galvanized, dielectric union. I sweated this right here, put these together. One thing I say, do not lose that gasket into shark bites. This shark bite right here, if you see, I actually dropped it and it cracked, and it still works completely. All the water's open on, no leaks. Now I gotta actually shut it off so I can go fix the upstairs. All right, bye.